Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar just unveiling his latest cabinet lineup for his unity government. For more, CNA's Melissa Goh joins us live now from the Prime Minister's office in Putrajaya. Mel, take us through this new cabinet lineup.
Well, for starters, it's smaller in terms of the size, the 27-member-strong unity government cabinet with 27 ministers. The deputies will be named later on, Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim said. So all in, it reflects the three major component coalitions in his unity government, Pakatan Harapan, as well as UMNO-led Barisan Nasional, and GPS, the Sarawak bloc. They all will be the main pillars on his government, and the seats and the ministers will be have been allocated in accordance to the number of seats that they won in the last general election. Now, he also mentioned that the focus of this unity government will be three-pronged. One, on governance, improving delivery and the governance of this administration. And two, is to improve on the economy, to revive the economy as Malaysia heads into possible global recession next year. And thirdly, is to put emphasis on addressing the rising cost of living problems that are facing the people that he promised that he will fix in the manifesto. Now, the ministers will all be sworn in tomorrow, he said, at the National Palace after 3 p.m., and then they will get to work on Monday. Now, this is the first time that Malaysia is seeing unity government where the cabinet reflects the not just across both East and West Malaysia, as well as all religions and races and so on. That's what the king wanted, decreed that he wanted a unity government. Now, some of the appointments that raised many eyebrows, for example, the former finance minister Zafrul Aziz. Now, Zafrul lost in the general election, so he will have to be appointed as a senator. He was appointed as senator to lead the finance portfolio under former Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin's tenure. Now, he has exhausted one term as senators. Now, there is a limit of 2 terms for senatorship, so he will be appointed as senator once again to helm the role of the Ministry of Trade and International Industries. Now, apart from that, Anwar's chief strategist, Rafizi Ramli, has been appointed as economy minister. Now, there are also a lot of appointments from Barisan Nasional, from UMNO especially. They will be helming the foreign ministry as well as many portfolios. So it's been all-round inclusive cabinet that he has have to take into account appeasing all sides in order to make it work, to ensure the political stability that he needs so that his administration can focus on fixing the country's economy, in helping the people going forward. Now, of course, it remains to be seen how strong this coalition, this unity government is going to be. Now, according to Mr. Anwar earlier on at the news conference, right now they have attained more than 2/3 majority in parliament, and that majority will have to be tested in Parliament when it sits on December 19.
Mel, the scrutiny on Mr. Anwar's picks is going to be intense right now. And of course, they're under a great deal of expectation to deliver that hope and direction that Malaysia wants. But now that Malaysia has seen who's been appointed to this new cabinet, what's next for the country?
For Mr. Anwar is also helming the finance ministry portfolio. Now, he will be focusing on reviving the economy. Now, he has said that economy is his focus of his administration. Has to focus on growing the pie. It's not going to be easy, as Malaysia has just recovered from the pandemic. It's still in the transition phase into post-pandemic. Things are not back to pre-pandemic level in terms of consumption. He has to restore confidence. Now, part of the reason he's helming the finance ministry, he said, is to help to restore confidence faster, and also in reining in spending and keeping the cabinet neat, because he has wanted to shrink the size of the cabinet, and he has done it as much as he could because the previous administration has more than 31 ministers. It's a bloated one with 70 members strong. Now, we haven't seen the deputy ministries' portfolios. There will be another list that's coming out. But as far as the core ministers concerned, the number of ministers involved in his unity cabinet or in 27. Now, he's also appointing former Petronas, the National Oil Corp president and CEO, Hassan Marikan, which is a well-known name, as his advisor to help him revitalize the economy. That will be his focus.
Mel, thank you very much for that update. Melissa Go there speaking to us live from Putrajaya.
For more analysis, let's bring in Mr. Adib Zalkapli. He is Director of Bar Group Asia, joining us from Kuala Lumpur. Mr. Adib, it's hard. Let's look at the two main possibly themes we can see in this cabinet lineup. First, the strategic portfolios. Mr. Anwar has kept them for him and his own, so he himself, finance minister, and his right-hand man getting Home Affairs portfolio, and the outsourcing of the battle against Bersatu and PAS. Now that has passed to UMNO, with Ahmad Zahid Hamidi getting not just DPM, he's also getting the Rural Affairs portfolio, which PAS would have eyed for a long time. These two themes, get to them.
Yeah, I mean, despite all the speculation, rumors that Anwar will give in too much to UMNO, he managed to hold on to two strategic portfolios, arguably the most important portfolios that should be under close watch from the Prime Minister. Firstly, he chose himself to be the finance minister. Of course, it's a very powerful portfolio, responsible for the next budget, responsible for the Treasury and Ministry of Home Affairs, with all the state apparatus under its control. In the past, has always been held by someone close to the minister. In this case, Anwar managed to do it by appointing Saifuddin Nasution, Party Secretary General, his long-time loyalist, someone who's been on his side since his sacking in 1998. So it's a major achievement in a way for Anwar to keep these two portfolios for him. But he's also given UMNO some symbolic victory with the appointment of Ahmad Zahid Hamidi as Deputy Prime Minister. It's symbolic in a way because there are two DPM positions, unlike in the past where an UMNO DPM with an UMNO PM DPM was a powerful position, but not so much today. But I think more significantly is the fact that Ahmad Zahid Hamidi, as the UMNO president, was made a Rural Affairs Minister. This was, I think, unprecedented, at least in recent times. In 2020, when Tan Sri Muhyiddin became Prime Minister, he made sure that the position was held by his party colleague. And when UMNO took over in August 2021, the position was held by UMNO because it's a very strategic position, very useful in winning Malay Muslim support in the rural areas. So by appointing Zahid, yes.
Yes, do continue. Sorry for cutting in. Just finish that sentence.
Yeah. So with the appointment of Zahid Hamidi as Minister of Rural Affairs, it suggests, I think, maybe Pakatan Harapan either has given up on the fight for the hearts and minds of the Malay voters, or it realizes the fact that the party needs UMNO to be at the forefront of the fight against PAS and Bersatu to win the Malay voters.
We'll get to Ahmad Zahid Hamidi in a moment, but let's take a look at this finance minister portfolio. Mr. Anwar Ibrahim taking it not just suggests that he thinks he has the ability to direct Malaysia on this very important subject of revitalizing the economy. It's also a position which many different parties have been eyeing and fighting, and his taking it, therefore, is his way of saying, perhaps I want to depoliticize this finance minister portfolio. I don't want any more infighting about it. I will take it over so that no one else can talk about who is more favored by getting this position. Do you read that? Do you get that reading at all from the fact that Mr. Anwar Ibrahim has taken the finance minister portfolio for himself?
Yeah, it's one way to look at it. I mean, there was intense competition, intense lobbying, not only within the unity government, but also within his own party. And also, I think there's also some lobbying from the private sector for certain individuals who used to lead GLCs to take that position. So Anwar kind of ended that competition, intra-party tension, by appointing himself as the finance minister. But I think more importantly, I think symbolically also, when Anwar was sacked from the government in 1998, he was also the finance minister. And at that time, it was the height of the Asian financial crisis. So by reappointing himself as a finance minister with, I think, expected economic challenges on the horizon, we can say that this is Anwar versus economic crisis part 2. He's trying to, I think, complete an unfinished business 24 years ago.
All right, Mr. Adib, final question here. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi, a divisive, controversial figure. Remember Mr. Anwar just a few days ago saying that he did not want to be giving out cabinet positions as a way, as he said, of rewarding political masses in order to get their support. He felt people should support him because he offers good governance for Malaysia. Now, one reading for Ahmad Zahid Hamidi getting both DPM as well as Rural Affairs Minister's portfolio would be his way of buying support from UMNO to keep him in his position. Do you think in this cabinet lineup, Mr. Anwar Ibrahim has maintained his credentials as a reformist prime minister?
Well, in a way, he had no choice but to give a prominent position to the UMNO president. He probably learned his lesson from the last two prime ministers who appointed ministers from UMNO by ignoring the hierarchy, appointing junior UMNO leaders, who are not in the top leadership in strategic positions. And it wasn't easy for the two prime ministers when they defy UMNO hierarchy. So I guess UMNO must have learned a lesson from the last two prime ministers by taking into account UMNO's hierarchy in appointing ministers from UMNO.
Thanks so much. Mr. Adib Zalkapli speaking to us live there from Kuala Lumpur.